Hi, Will Brooks, Sales Director at Spectrami in the UK with Stephen Hope, co-founder of Authlogics. Welcome, Stephen.
Thanks.
We've previously done a video talking about your password policy manager and how you go and check for passwords against a breach database. But you also actually offer multi-factor authentication product.
That's right.
Do you want to talk about why there's sort of a connection between the two, and also then we'll go into explain what the multi-factor authentication product is and how it works?
Yeah, sure. Well, there's a lot of multi-factor authentication solutions on the market, but a lot of them rely on having a password as the first logon step. You tend to log on with a username and password, and then the next step is a multi-factor something.
Yeah.
But a lot of vendors don't do anything to help secure the password that the customers already have, so which is why we focus very heavily on password security as a first step, because it's a key starting point for multi-factor.
Okay, so if people want to learn about how you address that, there's another video that we'll perhaps put a link to at the bottom of this one. But let's talk about your multi-factor authentication solution.
Yeah. So yeah, initially
we've got a typical network here. We've got remote home users dialing in through a firewall to a domain, and we've got some local users on the LAN. So very, very, very typical.
This is a very, very simplistic view of typical setup of a lot of customers. And to expand that into a world where all the guidance regulation starts telling us we need to be moving beyond just legacy passwords as well, but into a multi-factor authentication world for a lot of things. And we're also very much in a world where the firewall is no longer the barrier for our network, because we're in a cloud world of a lot of cloud applications and cloud-based data.
Yeah.
So you need something that's going to be able to protect internal and external.
Yeah. So we've got
resources.
apps in here, but sort of out here we're also going to extend this cloud. And we'll have Salesforce.com, Office 365,
and all the rest of them, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So what we would normally do from a plumbing point of view is we'd deploy our authentication server.
And that'd be inside the network?
And we deploy that on-prem on the network. So that technically could be in a private cloud as well, but for most common deployments we'll put it on the network. And we do that because we link directly with Active Directory as the main accounts database. And we do that because most customers already have an existing Active Directory with the user accounts, so why have the burden of creating a whole new database of users? So we leverage what's already there. So once that authentication server is in place, we can process multi-factor authentication logons. So a simple scenario would be connected to your firewall, your remote users connecting in for a VPN or web app, whatever, can now authenticate with multi-factor straight away.
And that can do that through an SSL VPN or IPsec?
Any type of VPN you want to do.
Okay.
Then your follow-on step from that is going to be connecting your cloud applications, because those apps and data are stored outside of the firewall, but you still need a way to be able to authenticate to them without having another username and password from that cloud provider, because that just creates more usernames and password headaches for your users.
Yeah.
So what we would do is create a federated connection into our authentication service, so you still control the credential and the identity, but you can use that identity to access all those cloud applications as well.
Okay. So fairly simple then, just one piece or one server on the network, and it looks after the rest of it, your cloud apps and your local apps.
Exactly. Then the third step as we go down the road is, well, we've got all these things kicking around. Unfortunately, a lot of customers have got a lot of desktop machines. Just standard Windows PC is all part of the domain, and they're not going away anytime soon. Now, at the moment, we're stuck with logging onto those machines, typically with username and password. Despite things like smart cards being around for ages, most customers still log onto their desktops with username and password. So we actually have an agent you can install onto those desktop machines, including Windows servers as well, and we support Linux servers, which you can secure access to the operating system with multi-factor as well, which significantly improves security of those devices.
Okay, and what is your multi-factor authentication sort of go-to product? Do you have tokens? Do you have SMS messages? How do we log on?
Yeah, well, all of the above. We believe in providing choice to customers about what kind of authentication they want to use. So we've got 3 software-based technologies. We also support YubiKey hardware tokens. But the primary one that we often talk about is what's called PinGrid. And PinGrid is a pattern-based authentication mechanism. So all you do is remember a pattern or a shape. You don't have to remember a password or a PIN code or anything complicated.
Okay.
And the nice thing about PinGrid is that you can use it in a deviceless In other words, I don't have a physical phone or token or anything with me. This is a deviceless mode or 1.5 factor. We can use it in a full-blown 2-factor scenario where it can be code could be sent to your phone. You can run the app on the phone.
Okay.
Or we even support 3-factor authentication with it, which is known as transaction signing.
So someone's got a mobile phone, they've got the app on there, the pin grid app on there gives them, and they recognise the pattern on there, enter that password there, that authenticates them.
Exactly.
In this scenario, where these guys don't have another device, you present the pin grid.
The challenge grid
the
comes up on the
challenge
logon
grid,
screen,
yeah.
correct. You don't
Yeah.
have to have another device with you.
So it's just there, and that's what's securing their access to the operating system.
Exactly.
And that would be the same if somebody was logging onto here. You know, a sysadmin was logging in, they would be presented with the same challenge grid.
Exactly. Now, one of the big pros about deviceless authentication from this point of view is you don't have all the headache of provisioning physical phones or devices or anything with the user at all. It's a knowledge-only log-on using a one-time code, which for a lot of scenarios is more than good enough, and it has the benefit of removing the password. Because in all of these scenarios as well, we've got the ability to log on without having a password whatsoever, which is a lovely end goal that customers would love to get to, especially logging onto Windows machines.
And it's still really secure because of the different combinations that would be presented by the pin grid challenge.
Totally, because you're logging on with the one-time code. It's a unique password every time you log on. What could be better than that?
Really interesting to hear from Stephen. If you want to learn more, then please get in touch with us here at Spectrami.